Welcome to what will hopefully be my last book haul for a while. Over the past year, you have seen me haul books in insane quantities, and I am sad to say, and perhaps a little, proud to say in some sense, that I have topped that. So I am coming in with my very last book haul for what I am hoping to be for a very long time, because I'm going on a book buying ban. I'll have that video linked if you're interested to see all the rules and regulations, but basically in my mind I was like, I'm not gonna buy books for a year. So let's buy books for a year. I have divided everything up into some sections. Some I think will be more interesting to you than others, but I just wanted to show you everything that I have gotten. I'm going to start with what I find to be the most exciting, which is the special editions that I have gotten. I didn't think there would be this many of them, but there are, and I'm really happy about it. Some of them I got from subscription boxes, some of them I have bought from resellers in South Africa. In addition to that, I also have 2 subscriptions myself, one of which is for Illumicrate and the other one which is for the Locked Library at the moment. With my Illumicrate subscription, I get access to pre-sales, and let's just say I utilize that maybe once, and yeah, the rest are as is. So let's go through it. I have the December book for the Locked Library, which is A River of Golden Bones by A.K. Mulford. This is a romantasy, and this is book 1 in the Golden Course. I don't know why I'm going into so much detail. I don't think you really care, but yeah, so this is what it looks like. This is a different cover. It's got a lot of gold to it. We also have sprayed edges. This is what the hardback looks like. And then it comes with a bound-in letter. So these don't come signed, but they do come in with a bound letter that is digitally signed. So is that, and obviously the iconic Locked Library spine, which has got the title, the key, and then the author. So these all will look the same if you do take off the dust jacket. I can't remember if I've hauled this, but I do have If I Have to Be Haunted by Miranda Sun. This is the Fairy Loot edition, which has these gorgeous sprayed edges. This is a different coloring to the original cover. We have these end papers. Oh, I actually forgot. Oh, this one is actually such a stunning edition. Sorry. Then we have a stunning design on the actual hardcover, a reversible dust jacket. This one comes with a bound-in letter, and I believe this is a digital signature. I then bought these 2 hardback editions of The Savage Song and Our Dark Duet by B.E. Schwab. These have the tallies on the spine, some stunning end papers, a design on the hardcover also, and that's the design. These do not come signed. I then have The Forest Grimm by Catherine Purdy. This is also the Fairy Loot exclusive. I think this was November. We have end paper art, which has some foiling on the sides. We have a really stunning under the dust jacket design, sprayed edges. Then it does have a alternative dust jacket. I did see that on most of them they have this little bit of damage right at the bottom, but otherwise it's pretty stunning. This is the back, this is the other end paper, and this is also a digital signature. My friend Roseanne then gifted me this copy of The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshni Chosky. This I read as an ebook and I really loved it, and I really wanted this edition, which has these really stunning sprayed edges. I believe this is the Litjoy special edition. Here are the end papers. It comes with a ribbon, it's signed, and it has an bound-in author's note. Here is the other side, and this is what the naked hardback looks like. So it's quite a stunning edition. I really enjoyed this book, if you're curious, which is why I got the special edition. Well, basically I stole it from my friend. I'm really happy that I could steal it from her, because this was a really great read. Then this is probably going to be my most prized possession for a while, and that is the Illumicrate Babel edition, which I also got gifted to me by my friend Roseanne. So this one came in a slipcase. This is the design on the hardcover. It's the same on both sides, and we have an act of translation is always an act of betrayal on the sprayed edges. We have the end papers. This one is signed, and that's the other end papers. So this is probably my favorite edition of Fable to date, and I'm glad that I got it. Then the next 2 are Fable exclusives that I also re-bought from someone, and it's these 2 right here. This one is Crown of Blood and Glass by Lucinda Dark and Rebecca Gray. There is the sprayed edges. It's got a beautiful design on the back as well, with a quote that says, "My enemy, my savior, they're one and the same." The end paper art, and this one is also signed. And then we have The Anatomy of Songs by Megan White. This portion looks very off-centered, but the back there's a quote that says, "In a city ruled by 2 gods, she is the first to hear them both." We have some really stunning sprayed edges. This is the end paper art. I believe it's the same on both sides, and it is also signed. Then bought this edition of The Devil Makes 3, which I believe is the Illumicrate version by Tori Bavellino. I've been wanting to read this one for a while now, which is why I grabbed it, and this is what the cover looks like. We also just have some plain sprayed edges, which I'm glad that we're moving past this because I really do enjoy the more intricate designs. This is what the end papers look like. They're both the same. We have a design on the hardback, and then it is signed. And yes, this is the Illumicrate edition. Just a note on the size, you will see that it is smaller than most hardbacks, and that's because Titan or Titan Books doesn't do full royal hardbacks, I believe they're called. This is like a different size. These are called B format hardbacks, which is different because they're actually the same size as a paperback. I then got gifted this lovely edition of Iron Flame by my friend Luzanne, who has her own bookish merch company called Avia Bookish, which I'll have linked if you're interested. And she has started doing sprayed edges, so she sprayed the edges on this copy of Iron Flame for me, which is so exciting. I've already read Iron Flame at this point in time. So all UK hardbacks came with this end paper art design, which is the same on both sides. Then for Christmas, my boyfriend bought me The Hunting Moon by Suzanne Dennard. This is the Illumicrate edition. I do have the Illumicrate version of the Luminaries. The cover looks like, the back says, "Not every nightmare is evil, not every nightmare deserves to die." Here are our end paper. It's quite a dark one, so you really do have to look closely. But this one does have the same really gorgeous design underneath where they've really gone full out with the foiling. So this one is Understanding Sources, a brief history and guide. We also have these really cool sprayed edges, and it does come signed. I then bought from someone the Bookish Box edition. These are the Luxe editions from the Bookish Box, and this is What Lies Beyond the Veil by Harper L. Woods. So this is what it looks like. Quite a lot of foiling on this one, and it has a quote at the back that says, "Why fight the inevitable?" We have these really stunning sprayed edges. We have really gorgeous end paper art that's different on both sides. We also have some really stunning foil on the hardcover itself, which keeps the title, and on the back is a different quote that says, "Come on my star, show them how bright you burn." Another thing that I really like about this book is that there is also a reversible dust jacket. How insane is this edition? Which also has some art on it, and the quote is also different, which is, "If this is what your hate feels like, then I can't wait to feel your love." It's quite a stunning edition. It's definitely curious, which I guess why it's called the Luxe edition, because they go full out for this. And then this one is signed. And the last special edition I have is this Dark Descent by Kaylin Josephs. Sorry, my cat just walked on my box. By Kaylin Josephson, and this is from Alcrate, and this was their October. On the back says, "Promise me you'll be fearless." And we also have some really stunning sprayed edges that are top and bottom. We have some stunning end paper art, which is different on both sides. We have foiling on the actual hardcover on both sides as well, and we have a reversible dust jacket, which is just got like an art print on it. And this one comes with both bound in leather and a signed. So those are all of my special editions. That means I've added a total of 14 new special editions to my shelves, which is always a lot of fun. We're now going to move on to the next category, which I couldn't really define, but I'm calling them like the more literary books or the more fiction, not really specified kind of books. I have Welcome to the Hanam Dong Bookshop. This is a really fantastic book about a woman who is experiencing severe burnout and decides to leave her job and open a bookstore, which sounds like exactly what I want to do every single day. I also have Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia, The Color Purple by Alice Walker. This I need to actually plan a read-along for that will be taking place in the new year. And then I have Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. As mentioned, I also have like a really big stack of 2024 proofs, and we're going to go through those quite quickly because this is like the second most exciting stack. First one I have is Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. Yes, I haven't read it, but I do plan on doing so. This comes out in January / is out right now. I then have I Hope This Finds You Well by Natalie Sue, which comes out in May 2024. The premise is, would you like to know what your colleagues say behind your back? We would like to introduce you to Jolene. She's a socially awkward, depressed, and hates you, her work colleagues. Due to a serious IT error, she has also just been granted access to all of your emails, private messages and private messages. She knows she should tell HR, but it finds it hard to resist knowing what they really think of her. I'm so excited to have the reappearance of Rachel Bright by Holly Jackson. I'm actually hoping to read this quite soon. This comes out in April. I then have Sunbringer by Hannah Kaner. This one I actually read God Killer earlier on this year. I will need to reread it, I think. Sort of. Do I need to? I kind of remember most of it. But I also have ordered myself the Illuminate edition of this. I then have The Hidden Queen by Peter B. Brett. This comes out in March, and this is the sequel to The Desert Prince, which I also want to read. I then have An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson. That's what I'm so excited for. This is technically a sort of sequel to Dowry of Blood, I think, but follows an obsession with Carmilla instead of Dracula. I'm really excited for this one. This cover is also just phenomenal. I then have a middle grade proof for Paper Dragons, which this is so cool, like how nice is this? And next year is the Year of the Dragon, so you'll probably be seeing a ton of books coming out for the Year of the Dragon. This one comes out in February. I then have Rush by Saskia Roy. This is a Formula One romance. I'm here for it. I then have The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. This just sounded so interesting. This comes out in summer 2024. I don't think there's anything specific. And then it says, Alice had never met a family more obsessed with its own reputation. Some said it was tragic what happened to the Van Laars. Some said the Van Laars deserved it, that they never even thanked the searchers who stayed out for 5 nights in the freezing forest trying to help their missing son. Some said there was a reason it took the family so long to call for help, that they knew what happened to the boy. Now, 15 years later, the daughter the family had in their grief has gone missing in the same wilderness as her brother. Some say the 2 disappearances aren't connected. Some say they are. So this just sounded really, really good, and I really wanted to read this one. I then have Blue Sisters by Coco Mellers. This is Lucky's proof. There were 3 proofs in total that went out in different shades of blue, and so I took this really nice baby blue duck egg color. This comes out next year, obviously. I'm trying to see when. It doesn't say, but yeah, comes out, I'm thinking the beginning part of next year, probably around April. I then have End of Story by AJ Finn. This is coming out in February 2024. This, I think, is his 2nd book since The Woman in the Window, and obviously everyone has been anticipating this one. And this one has a really great synopsis, or premise if you will, and renowned mystery novelist Sebastian Trapp is a mystery himself, and maybe, probably, a murderer. I have another middle grade proof, and this is for Artisans, The Forgotten Magic by Aldi Lipinski, and this comes out in February next year. For the past 400 years, magic has been fading. Artisans are no longer powerful, they are ordinary, but 2 extraordinary twins are about to change everything. Get ready, magic is back. I then have a YA thriller, which is One Last Breath by Jenny Mayers Sane. This is coming out in March next year, and it says, the deeper the water, the darker the secrets. I also have this really stunning proof, which is In the Shallows by Tanya Bryn, and this one is coming out in February next year, where my proof is probably like about to fall apart. I then have this really massive and impressively, well, it's actually really well anticipated book, which is How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kirsten Perrin. This one also has a fantastic premise. Frances always said she'd be murdered. She was right. So this one follows 17-year-old Frances Adam, who was told by a fortune teller that one day she'd be murdered. Frances spent the next 60 years trying to prevent the crime that would be her eventual demise. Of course, no one took her seriously until she was dead. When Frances' great-niece Annie arrives from London and discovers that Frances' worst fear has come true, she is thrust into her great-aunt's final act of revenge. Frances has collected a lifetime of evidence, and the person who uses these findings to solve her murder will inherit millions. Can Annie unravel the mystery and find justice for Frances, or will digging at the past lead her into the path of the killer? How fantastic. And then have this really cute romance, which is Under Your Spell by Lara Wood, the dazzling adult debut from YA sensation Lara Wood. Prepare to be enchanted. Dumped, fired from her dream job and about to lose her flat, Clementine Monroe is not having a good day. So when her sisters get drunk and suggest reviving a childhood ritual called the breakup spell, she doesn't see the harm in it. But now Clemmy has accidentally ruined a funeral, had her first one-night stand, and she's stuck with a new job she definitely doesn't want. Spending 6 weeks alone with the gorgeous and very off limits rock star Theo Elliott. He is the most famous man on the planet. Her life's a disaster. When it comes to love, Clemmy is learning you should be careful what you wish for. How fun does that sound? I forgot to mention that comes out in March and this comes out in June. And then probably one of my favorite translated books that are coming out next year is called Butter by Azuko Yuzuki, and this one is really fun. Look how it looks like a butter that's just packaged up, and it says here, a gourmet chef and a serial murderer with a taste for life's luxuries, a journalist with an appetite for a good story, and an A Shocking Gastronomic Exchange, and this is coming out in February. Moving on to my romance books. These are separate from Romantasy. I have Wildfire by Hannah Grace. This is just normal edition. I wish I had gotten the exclusive books, Sprayed Edges, or the bargain books which were signed. I have the third book in the Dreamland Billionaire series, which is Final Offer. I do have the fine print somewhere on my shelves. I have the Borrow a Boyfriend Club, which sounds really cool. So need a prom date to impress your friends, make it your own extras, just call the Borrow the Boyfriend Book Club. And I believe this is LGBTQ++, with a trans main character, if I'm not mistaken. I also got Signs of Cupidity by Raven Kennedy, which is book 1 in the Heart Hassle series. And this just sounded really cute, and it's about a Cupid, and not the Cupid, but a Cupid, and basically she doesn't have a physical body, and she can't be seen by anyone, and she can't fall in love herself. And then something happens and she basically becomes a physical being. I don't know, this sounds really cute, so I'm excited to read it. I then have book 2 and book 3 in the Never After series, and this is Scarred, which basically is a retelling of Scar from The Lion King. I made a grave mistake of thinking that these had a fantastical element, aka being fantasy. They're not, they're just contemporary romances that are inspired by fairy tales or etc. And we have Wretched, which I don't know which this one is inspired by. I'm not too sure, but I'm really excited for these. The first book was so easy to read and fun, so I'm excited to pick up these two next. I have Hex and the City by Kate Johnson. This one looks so cute. Things you should know about Poppy. She's a witch, she has magical hair, she lives with Iris, the head of her coven, in a beautiful ramshackle house next to Highgate Cemetery. She works at a magical shop in Covent Garden, but not real magic, as that would be highly irresponsible. Then Poppy accidentally sells gorgeous celebrity Axel Storm, all 6'4" of him, a cursed pendant. As hell breaks loose, all sparks fly both in and out of the cauldron. How cute. I have The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I really want to read this one, as well as The 7 Year Slip, which I do have on my shelf. I then bought One Italian Summer by Rebecca Surreal, I don't know. I really enjoyed In 5 Years, and I still want to own a physical copy of that, but I have this one next. And am I in different clothes? Yeah. So yesterday, my camera like got really hot because it's summer in South Africa, and so I opted to stop for now and come back later. And then I ended up going to watch a 3.5 hour movie and going out for dinner. So we're here the day after. We're going to finish up this haul so that we can just get going. I think I stopped off on this one. So One Italian Summer is by Rebecca Surreal, who I read In 5 Years from, and I absolutely loved it because it was such a great twist. And she has a third book coming out next year, and so I'm assuming by the time I post it, it will be 2024, but in 2024 she's coming out with another book, and so I'm hoping to read this one and the next one. I then got sent these 2 books from Penguin Random House, South Africa, so thank you so much to them for feeding my book addiction. So I have A Wish for Us by Tilly Cole, as well as Too Far by Sylvia Day. I do have an ebook of Too Close, I believe. Oh, So Close. So I'm really excited to read these 2 because I don't know, they just look really good. And then obviously this one I haven't heard much about, but Tilly Cole wrote 1,000 Boy Kisses, which apparently made lots of people cry, so I'm excited to read this one. I then have Marked by PT and Kirsten Cast. The reason why I have this is because I have the rest of the series minus the first book, and so I decided to grab this so I can finish the series next year. That's the plan. I then also got this book, which is The 7-Day Switch by Meg Cronus, and this is a South African author. She's actually local to me, very much so. I saw her at a Christmas market and I decided to pick this one up, and yeah, and she has signed it for me. It does come with a free ebook, which I think I actually have to, I need to actually renew this quite early on. So that, I'm hoping to actually read this quite soon, but yeah, I figured why not support someone local, and it's a rom-com, that's it. Then this is probably going to be like one of my favorite things to own ever, and that is the entire Stalking Jack the Ripper series by Kerri Maniscalco in hardcover. So this is Kerri Maniscalco's debut series, and we start off with Stalking Jack the Ripper. That is honestly just such a great book. I really enjoyed it, and I got these from work for free because basically they were damaged, although I don't see how. They like in perfect condition in my mind, especially considering that they come from the US and they are like in pretty fantastic condition. So I'm really glad that I got these. I'm actually hoping to maybe do a reread of these next year, and that way I can also finish the series, because I've only read up until Escaping Houdini and I still need to read Capturing the Devil. And the last 2 books as part of my romance is a volume 5 of Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. I still need to finish. I actually want to reread the series and finish off with this one. I might do a quick short little vlog for it because these will not take me long. And then I have Text Appeal by Amber Roberts. This just sounded really cool. Stam gets steamy with when this coder starts sexting to pay the bills. Lark has lost her dream job as a coder. When her friend mentions text message-based sex work as a stopgap between jobs, she laughs. How would she explain to people that she's earning a living through her phone? Especially to Toby, her dorky best friend and long-time unrequited crush. Larkin's not very good at sexting anyways, but as she tries and fails a few times, she starts to actually enjoy her new job, especially talking to one charming and nerdy client. Now Lark has the decision to tell Toby she's a sex worker and forget about her anonymous client, or keep the secrets that are piling up in her inbox. It sounds cute to me. I'm now quickly moving into the romantasy pile. First one I have here is a hardcover of Glow, and the reason being is because I really enjoy the Plated Prisoner series, and so I would like to collect them all in hardcover. And someone was selling this on Facebook Marketplace for like 300 rand or something, like ridiculously cheap like that. And so I was like, okay, well, I need it anyways, I may as well grab the 4th book and work my way through it as I get to rereading the series. At least that is my plan. Yeah, I'm really excited, I'm really happy, and this is actually in really good condition as well, so I'm really happy that I grabbed this when I had a chance. My friend Roseanne decided to buy herself a special edition of Omen of Ice by Jess Ocado, I think is how you say it. And this is like another romantasy about Faye, and so she said I could keep this hardcover that she got a while ago. And if you don't know anything about this series, this book gets swept away in this breathtaking romantasy series about frost, fire, and fate. It sounds like your typical romantasy, but I'm really excited for this one, and yeah, I'm keen to pick it up hopefully soon. Then for a work thing, I got this entire Married to Magic series by Elise Cover, of which I have so far only read A Deal with the Elf King, but I have A Deal with the Elf King, A Dance with the Fae Prince, Duel with the Vampire Lord, and A Duet with the Siren Duke. And yeah, this is like really fun. They are all like, they get bigger and bigger. So as I said, I have so far read A Deal with the Elf King, and I'm really excited to continue on with these 3 as soon as I can. Talking about my friend Roseanne, she also gave me Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Maher, and basically she had another copy of this book, and so she gifted this one to me because she doesn't need 2 of the same, and I'm really excited. I've heard really mixed things about this so far, but I'm just gonna go into this hopefully when I do read it next year sometime with an open mind, keeping in mind that it's just fun. I then bought my friend Roseanne and I both a copy of Starbringer by Tracy Wolff and Nina Kraft. We loved the Crave series by Tracy Wolff, and so I figured we would love to read this one, and so I got it. I also got the new Jennifer L. Armentrout book, which is Fall of Ruin and Rock. Okay, that's the slips. My boyfriend bought this for me. I'm really excited to read this. I have been enjoying From Blood and Ash, so I'm excited to try something else by her as well at some point. Then for Christmas, I got Kushiel's Dart by Jacqueline Carey. This, I was like, where is this book coming from? I've never seen it anywhere, I've never heard about it, but it's got like obviously intoxicating fantasy of intrigue and betrayal. And then Olivia Blake has blurbed it the ultimate romantasy, and I was like, I have not heard a wink about, like, nothing about this book. And then I looked further and I realized this was published in 2001 initially, and it's now been republished with these covers, and these are thick books, so I thought I would give this a go. This sounds really good. Servant, Seductress, Spy. All Pedro knows, why are these names like this, has known is a life of servitude until now, when her bond is purchased by a nobleman. And I feel, why does she have a male name and he has a female name? And I feel he transforms her into a charming courtesan and skillful spy. He's also the first to recognize what she is, one touched by the god Kushiel's dart, chosen forever to experience pain and pleasure as one. But when Theodre uncovers a plot that threatens the very foundations of her homeland, she's thrown into a world of deadly courtiers, heroic traitors, and one truly Machiavellian villainess. Her journey will take her to the edge of despair and beyond, for false friends, loving enemies, and beloved assassins all wear the same glittering masks. And Theodre will get but one chance to save all that she holds dear. So they said this was blurbed by Robert Jordan, so I'm assuming it's good. I then also have Never by Jessa Hastings. This is a Peter Pan retelling, so I'm excited to get into this. And then the last book I have in romantasy is A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. This is the 3rd book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. I have plans to read this really soon, in the beginning of literally 2024. along with Caraval, so keep your eye out for that because there will be vlogs for both series. I promise we're nearing some sort of conclusion to this video. I'm just gonna fly through the non-fiction books that I have here. I have Casa Semenya's book, which is The Race to Be Myself. We've published this locally and this is my signed copy from her. I have Behind Every Great Woman is a Great Cat by Lou Mayo, and basically one of our sales managers was clearing her office and so there were a lot of spare copies of stuff and I grabbed this one. I also grabbed The Little Book of Cats. I have Good Data, An Optimist's Guide to Our Digital Future by Sam Gilbert. This I think will be a really fun read. I'm always interested in seeing what companies do with data and the data that we share willingly when we click on ads and that sort of stuff, so I think this will be a fun read. And then for a very long time, not that I think I would ever be vegan, but I always, you know, jump backwards and forwards of becoming a little bit more, having less meat in my diet, and this is On Eating Meat, The Truth About Its Production and Ethics of Eating It, Matthew Evans. So yeah, so I think this is going to be a bit preachy, but I think it will be interesting to read. I then grabbed Magpies and Red Skies, The Enchanting Origins of 100 Superstitions by Willow Winsham. And I thought this was really fun because I really love reading about superstitions and what people think will happen, like the superstition of throwing salt over your shoulder and where it comes from and why people do it. That would be fun. And then this book I'm really excited for, and that is Women of the Galaxy, which is a Star Wars book just featuring all of the women that can be found in the Star Wars universe, and that's all I need. Jumping into my pure fantasy books, or I think there's still some sci-fi in there. The first book I have is Defiant by Brandon Sanderson. This is book 4 in the Skyward series. I believe this is the second last one or the last one of those two. I also was gifted Murtagh by Christopher Paolini by Penguin Random House South Africa, so thank you to them for sending this my way. This is a big book. I will also need to reread Aragon and the entire series to get to this, but I am very excited. At the recommendation of Peru's Project Reagan, I have The Will of the Many by James Islington, and this just sounded really good and this cover is really stunning, and so I bought it whilst I had credit with work, and yeah, that's basically it. I then purchased a second-hand copy of Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This is a hardback. I'm hoping to get the hardcover for Hellbent, and then I'll be collecting the rest of the series in hardcover, which it was supposed to be a 7-book series and now it's going to be a trilogy, so I'm interested to see how Leigh Bardugo will wrap it up. Obviously the third book hasn't even been announced yet as what it will be, when it will be coming out and all of that jazz, so it leaves room for me to reread the series and annotate the hardcovers. I then won a giveaway from a local author and I'm really excited. One of these is not a fantasy book, but it just fits in with this. So the book I have is Till Death Do Us Part by Lene Yelomi. I think it's Afrikaans, but I don't want to say it in Afrikaans. This is her second book, and then If the Crown Fits is her debut, which I'm excited to have in my hand. I mean, I had my eye on this for a very long time, so I'm glad I could pick this up and read it. So this one is Rule number 1, don't trust anyone. Rule number 2, don't get caught. Rule number 3, never break rules number 1 or 2. These are the only laws that the infamous masked bandit abide in, but the most wanted thief in Everness is about to have her world unravel before her eyes. Against her will, she becomes a pawn in the political games of her kingdom and its enemies. She's about to discover just what the cost of breaking the rules are. Deceive a prince, steal an heirloom, how difficult can it be? Unless everything you've ever known is a lie. Betrayal, magic forest, romance, and royalty, and a tale about a common thief, a soldier, and a very desired crown. Yeah, and then this one is set in a different world, and it's Endelyn is set on becoming the strongest and most powerful queen her kingdom has ever seen. So when she is forced to marry a Norse warrior for the purpose of an alliance, she does everything in her power to get rid of him. With enemies emerging from every side, Endelyn comes to realize that she might need him more than she planned. Draven is determined to get revenge, and the Union would finally give him the power he requires. There is only one thing standing in his way, a slightly spoiled, very adamant princess. The dangers of the medieval court can only add fuel to an ever-growing fire. In a fight for survival, will they learn what it means to fight for each other before it's too late? So, how cool. And then she included this little novella, which is Not Another Christmas Carol, which I will probably just power through, maybe today or something, because it's not particularly long. Then, as part of my Christmas present, my boyfriend bought me Bonesmith by Nikki Powell Preto. And this one just sounded really cool because it's about someone who fights the undead, and I've heard really great things about this so far. I also grabbed A Proof of the Future by Naomi Alderman from The Office. This book is out now and we had spare copies, so I opted to grab it. And then I bought myself Discount Armageddon by Shauna Maguire. This is the same Shauna Maguire who wrote the Wayward series, and so I don't know which one is first in the series. I thought it was this one. When I look inside, it says Midnight Blue Light Special is the first book. I don't know, I'll just have to double check this. And then yeah, I'm hoping to read, this is an encrypted novel This is this is the first one. The thrilling first installment in the encrypted urban fantasy series from New York Times bestselling author Shauna McGuire. The Price family has spent generations studying the monsters of the world, working to protect them from humanity and humanity from them. Meet Verity Price. Despite being trained from birth as a cryptozoologist, she'd rather dance a tango than tangle with a demon, and is spending a year in Manhattan to pursue her dream career in professional ballroom dance. That is until talking mice, telepathic mathematicians, and a tangle with the Price family's old enemies, the Covenant of St. George, get in her way. So that just sounds like fun. I'm excited to pick this one up. Okay, we have like 2 stacks left, bear with me. We are quickly jumping into the thrillers. The first book I have here is If We Were Villains. This is the illustrated edition or the 5th anniversary edition. I then also have People to Follow by Olivia Worley. This is 10 social media stars think they're about to join the cast of a hot new reality show, but the production crew never shows up and their influencers find themselves stranded on a deserted Caribbean island with no contact with the outside world except for messages from the mysterious sponsor who is threatening to expose their darkest secrets. When one of them winds up dead, things start to get more real than they bargained for. With the body count rising, the influencers must figure out who is trying to get them cancelled, like literally, before the #1 follower strikes again. I then also have a copy of Creep by Lydia de Penaflor. This just sounded really interesting. So this basically follows a girl who is stalking this couple, and then something happens to them and she's the only one who knows what happened, I guess. I also have How to Find a Missing Girl by Victoria Wollstock. Yeah, this is also another YA thriller. I've also thrown in some gothic books in here, and one of them is A Picture of Dorian YA retelling Every Exquisite Thing by Laura Stephen. As I mentioned, this is gothic. She has another gothic book called The Society for Soulless Girls. Maybe I'll do a reading vlog with both of these, and obviously a retelling of Picture of Dorian Gray. I think we can all see where this is going. Another gothic book that I have is Inheritance by Nora Roberts. This just sounds so good, and I decided to pick it up. 1806, Astrid Poole sits in her bridal clothes, overwhelmed with happiness, but before her marriage can be consummated, she is murdered and the circle of gold torn from her finger. Her last words, a promise to her husband never to leave him. After finding her fiancé in a compromising position with her cousin, Sonia McTavish needs an escape. When a lawyer turns up on her doorstep out of the blue with the news that she has inherited a beautiful Victorian house, Sonia thinks that maybe this is just a change of scene she needs. The house, nicknamed Lost Bride Manor, is beautiful, the setting idyllic, and the local town offers Sonia the small town comfort she craves after life in a big city. So what if there are sometimes shadows in the windows, objects move of their own accord, and music starts playing out of nowhere? Sonia can live with the house being a little haunted. But things soon start to take a darker turn, and it becomes clear that Sonia has inherited far more than a house. She has inherited a centuries-old curse and a puzzle she must solve if there's any hope of breaking it. So that just sounded really good. I also basically pilfered this proof from a colleague of mine, and it's The Babysitter, and this is the blockbuster thriller from Emma Curtis, poised to set the autumn ablaze. And 3 women, 3 secrets, but only one of them is capable of murder. Sounds good to me. And then the last book I have in the thriller category is You Look Better as a Ghost. This just sounds so cool, and the tagline at the back reads, I have a gift. I see people as ghosts before they die. Of course it helps that I'm the one killing them, and that's really what sold me. Like, that's the humor that I'm expecting from this book. And then the very last category is going to be middle grade books or more teen reads, and the first thing I have here is this Skullduggery box set that is the old covers, but basically I asked about, oh, where do I start with Skullduggery, and one of the children's sales manager is so sweet and she gave me this entire box set, and I was like, okay, challenge accepted, so I'll be reading this next year. I have the sequel to Edge Witch, which is Wood Witch by Sky McKenna. I'm excited for this one. I really enjoyed the first book. I think I gave it like 3-4 stars. It was just like a really fun read, so I'm excited to continue on in this one. I have a final copy of Kevin the Vampire, A Most Mysterious Monster by Matt Brown. I'm so excited for the second book to come out next year. This book was so much fun to read. If you have a kid who is like 6 to 9, this is perfect. I also have The Vanquishers by Kaylin Barron. This is a vampire book. I also got gifted The Chalice of, oh my gosh, why do all of these things have bookmarks in them? For real. Okay, so I also have Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Chalice of the Gods by Rick Riordan. This is the new book that's come out in the Percy Jackson series. I will need to find out how I'm supposed to read this because I have the entire Percy Jackson series and the Trials of Apollo, and then I do still need Heroes of Olympus as well as the Kane Chronicles and the Magnus Chase series. So that's what I still need, and I need to figure out where this fits in with all of that. Then I have Read, Scream, Repeat, and this is curated by Jennifer Killick. She wrote the Dreadwood series, which I love the first book so much, so I really enjoy her kind of horror, spooky vibes, and so I'm excited to see what her creation like. This is just like a bunch of short stories, 13 spine-tingling tales. There you go. And then the very last book for this book haul is going to be this cute graphic novel called The Witch's Throne Volume 2. I thoroughly enjoyed Volume 1. I might just need to do a refresher, which I don't think will be a problem. This is basically set in a world which is like a game, and I really enjoyed that, so I'm looking forward to continuing on with this. Then I'm hoping that there will be more volumes after this. So that is my super long, super many, too many books that I have gotten in the last 2 months of this year. As you can see, I really went all out. Some of them were gifted, some of them I bought, some of them I won. But at the end of the day, I have a whole lot and I'm really happy, and this is going to have to fulfill me for the next long while whilst I not buy any books. While I don't buy any books. Sorry, English, not strong suit at the moment. But yeah, so that's what I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed. Let me know down below which book you think I should prioritize a bit more on my TBR. As I mentioned, I'm going to be reading Caraval and the Once Upon a Broken Heart series quite soon, and then the rest is up for debate, basically. But yeah, my goal is going to be to read through my bookshelves and get as far into them as I possibly can and get those books read. That is it. Thank you so very much for joining me today. I'm sorry that this video is probably very long and on the longer side of things, but I hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one where I'll be tackling my TBR in 2024.